Archery's came a long way since legends like Fred Bear, with recurve limb bows turning into parallel limb bows and turning with single cam and dual cam bows. If you're ready to start in the archery world, this is a video to show you how a bow will fit you and what bows to buy to fit your purpose or your needs. When selecting a bow, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what kind of shooting will you be doing? Are you a recreational shooter, a big game hunter, or do you just like to shoot with the kids? The second question you'd like to ask yourself is, how much money am I willing to spend? Am I only wanting to put a couple $100s into a bow, or am I wanting to put a couple thousand into a bow? Those are questions you need to ask yourself when beginning in archery. A beginner in archery should really start out small to make sure he's actually going to like the sport. The next question you're going to ask yourself is, what will my draw weight be? A comfortable draw weight for you will be determined by sitting flat on the ground and breaking your bow down at full draw. That'll tell you if it's comfortable. If you don't have to pick your feet up off the ground in order to break the bow down, then that's a comfortable draw weight for you. Another thing is draw length. A way to determine your draw length would be to spread your arms all the way out and have somebody measure your wingspan. For instance, I'm 71 inches tall. It's 71 inches from tip to fingertip to fingertip. You divide that by 2.5 and you'll get 28.5, which is my draw length. A lot of pro shops, archery retailers, they will measure your draw length by having you put your fist against the wall with your shoulder parallel, and they will measure from the wall to the corner of your mouth. It'll give you the same draw length. I would recommend going to a pro shop or a professional archery store and have them fit you for a bow. Don't ever try to set a bow up yourself if you're a new archer. Let a professional bow technician set your bow up for you. And there's 3 comfortable ways that you need to be able to shoot your bow. You need to be able to shoot from an elevated position like a tree stand. You need to be able to sitting flat on the ground like on a stock position. And also from a chair. Another popular archery position would be from the knees, also used in stalking deer. Now we're going to talk about accessories for your bow. What you're going to need a peep. A peep sight helps you stay in line with the center of your string to your sight. You're going to need a string loop if you're going to be a release shooter. Most people shoot releases these days. There's several different styles of release. There's a handheld release. There's a hooked release that actually hooks the loop. It allows for one-handed operation, which most of them are anyway. This is a caliper release. This is what I prefer. The string loop gives you a cleaner release from the bow, less string swag, and just all-around better accuracy. Then you want to move up to your sights. I'm a single pin shooter. Some people, they prefer 4, 6 pins. I like a rolling sight where you got 1 pin. I get to know my bow better that way, and I've got marks set for 20, 30, and 60 yards. It's best to practice at long distances, especially if you live in an area with a lot of open ground. If you're going to hunt, if you're going to competition shoot, you need to practice at distances from 20 to 80 yards, especially in 3D competitions. If you're just a recreational shooter that likes to have something to do with the kids or something just to do at camp in the summer, you can practice at 10 to 20 yards with maybe a recurve bow. When picking these things, just pretty much a lot of it's just preference. But you can ask your local bow dealer or your pro shop's expert, and he'll recommend what you need to make you a more accurate shooter, to help you grow in the sport better. And now I'm going to show you the 3 basic positions to shoot a bow from when hunting big game. And that would be, well, I'm not going to be able to show you from an elevated position because I don't have a tree stand, but I can mimic it on the ground. I'll show you from a chair and from the knees, just like you would be in a stock position on your knees, crawling through high grass after a big buck, or in a ground blind from a chair. First position I'm going to show you shooting from a chair like out of a ground blind. Things you need to remember when shooting from a chair like this, you need to practice this way. This is not an easy position to shoot from. You need to keep your feet flat on the ground, Some people may tuck this leg behind them if they're having to twist. The ideal position though is to have your feet flat on the ground. When you break your bow down, when you come to full draw, arch your back and keep your shoulders parallel. Then release. And that's how you shoot from a chair. The next position I'm going to show you is from the knees, or stalk position as I call it. When hunting plains country in high grass, you'll crawl through the grass with your bow, and you plant your knees solid in the ground. That's the best way to shoot. You can raise up on a big buck and be at full draw when you get him in his sights. The way you want to do this is when you get ready to draw, make sure you're kind of facing away, or facing to, depending on whether you're a right-handed or left-handed shooter. When you draw your bow, go ahead and draw it, then raise up slow and release. When you do that, you kind of got the element of surprise. But just like the sitting position, you need to practice this shot. It's a little more difficult than standing and shooting. So practice it and have fun with it. The third position I'd like to show you would be like shooting from a tree stand. I don't have a tree stand up in this area that I could get up in and show you, so I'm going to kind of show you the position that you'll be standing in. It might be a good idea if you're a tree stand hunter to practice shooting your bow with your harness on. Some harnesses are made a little different than others, some get in the way a little bit. You might have to adapt your shooting position to shoot around them. But the way you'll be standing on a small platform tree stand, your feet will be kind of turned away from the tree a little bit. And you probably, when you break your bow down, you'll have to come above your rail and lean. But like anything else, you need to practice this shot. You need to get your tree stand set up somewhere close to your house. Start at short ranges and then work your way out gradually up to about 45 yards. Okay, so far we've covered just about everything. If you're new to the archery world, you really need to look into everything I've talked about. Go to a pro shops and get their opinion. You let them measure you for a bow and figure out what you need. You also need a good quality layered target if you're going to be shooting some of the faster bows today in today's market. Another thing we didn't talk about is arrow selection. When you go pick your bow out, your archery professional will tell you what you need. Brand is preference a lot of times. You need to let him measure you for your arrows and get the right arrows, and I'd recommend a 2-inch vein. They're a lot better with broadheads and they're a lot better in wind. When you go talk to your archery professional, he'll tell you this too. But I hope I've been more than helpful in helping you get into the archery world. It really excites me to know that any young person or anybody's getting into archery. It's a more widespread sport than what it used to be. There's a lot of recurve shooters coming out. That's something everybody ought to look into, is starting back at the roots and start shooting a recurve first, then move your way into a compound. But if there's any way we can help you, if there's anything I left out, email me at East Ky Headhunters 2010 at hotmail.com, or look us up on Facebook at East Ky Headhunters. We'd love to hear any of your stories, see any of your videos, or see your pictures. And until the next time I talk to you, be safe and be careful in the outdoors.